تبلوا بالقليل من القليل، تبلوا بالقليل من القليل، وهي الزاد للسفر الطويل، وهي الزاد للسفر الطويل.
And he said, the rapist. Let me talk about this issue. Let me explain to you first. He said, Fatimis were the one who introduced the Mawlid. Let me start by telling you, we follow the Quran and Sunnah. We don't follow Fatimis and we don't follow Malak Muzaffar al-Kukuburi. We don't follow these people. What do we follow? Quran and Sunnah. Let me just touch on this issue. We follow Quran and Sunnah. Fatimis were who? Those who claim their lineage went back to Sayyidah Fatima radiallahu ta'ala anha. He mentioned two people, Mu'izz li dinillah, Hakim li amrillah. Al-Mu'izz li dinillah and Hakim li amrillah. Let me mention some points. Fatimi started in Egypt the practice of Mawlid. But as what? As a national day of rejoice. They made it into a national day of rejoice. A national day of rejoice. Who? Fatimis. This is what they did. And they did this in a specific manner. This is the truth. Where the Khalifa, the Caliph, would attend, scholars would come, speeches were organized by the government. Yani, it was a national day of rejoice. That's what the Fatimis introduced. They did not introduce the practice of Mawlid. They introduced it to be on a national day. They made it into a national day. That's what they introduced, not Mawlid. Mawlid is for Quran and Sunnah. They did it on one day, national day. We have, then at the same time, Muzaffar al-Kawkaburi, couple of hundred years after, Malik Muzaffar al-Kawkaburi, the king Muzaffar, he started in Iraq, Irbil, Iraq. He started to do Mawlid with army parade, lights, stage, speeches, machines, food, and this was done on a national level. He established this nationally. It might be done in Kufa and Basra, but nationally, this is what he introduced. He mentioned a scholar called Mufti Muhammad al-Muti'i, and he said this Hanafi in his book. He said, Ahsanul Quran. He knows when I crack a joke. I was in madrasa with him for about 3 years. The smile said it all. He said, Ahsanul Quran, Mufti Muti al-Hanafi. Imran, there's no book called Ahsanul Quran. It's called Ahsanul Kalam. فيما يتعلق بالسنة والبدعة من الأحكام. أحسن الكلام, not أحسن القرآن. Get it right. Get it right. Get this. We got this copy. We went a long way to get this copy and we got it. Mufti Muti, who's a Hanafi, he's right. What did he say about this Fatimism, especially Malik Muzaffar al-Kukaburi? He said, Imran said, this is his statement, if they knew, he said, the Mufti said in his book, if they knew what they did to celebrate the Mawlid, it would be impossible for you to see it as being permissible. He said, if you knew what they were doing, you wouldn't think it's halal. You wouldn't think it's permissible. What did he actually say? The Arabic is here. وأنت إذا علمت ما كان يعمله الفاطميون ومظفر الدين في المولد النبوي جزمت بأنه لا يمكن أن يحكم عليه كله بالحل. Look what he said. He said, if you knew what the Fatimis and Muzaffar the king, Muzaffar al-Din did in relation to Mawlid al-Nabawi, the Prophet's Mawlid, alayhi salatu wassalam, jazamta, you would be certain, it is certain, you would be certain بأنه لا يمكن, that it is not possible أن يحكم عليه كله. It's not possible to make everything they did be halal. He didn't say it is not halal, not permissible. He said there's some things they were doing that weren't permissible. We said the same thing. If a woman came in here, haram. We said the same. If somebody drank alcohol in a Mawlid gathering, haram. We're saying the same thing Mufti is saying. What are you saying? Why are you telling people he didn't consider it permissible? Read the ibadah properly. You know what? He didn't read the ibadah. He didn't read it. His scholars gave him a script and they read. We've got the ibadah here. The ibadah is here. We found it. We've dug deep to get out what is actually said. Why? So the world knows they are attributing lies to the Prophet ﷺ's Mawlid. They're attributing lies on this issue. Then he mentioned this book here, it is this book. This book. My challenge, Imran, this book. Prove to me anywhere where he said Mawlid is not allowed. This is your proof. You prove to me where he said Mawlid isn't allowed. We've read the entire book. He wrote 20 pages to defend the Mawlid. 20 pages. And let me tell you, the book you use to make this impermissible is the book I'm using to make it permissible. Let me continue. The next book. He said Kitabul Khutat. It's Kitabul Khitat, not Khutat. He made a big mistake. It's not Khutat, it's Khitat. Kitabul Khitat. And the actual book's name is كتاب المواعظ والاعتبار بذكر الخطط والآثار. The musannif of this kitab is a man called Taqiyuddin al-Maqrizi. Maqrizi is the musannif. He's the one who wrote this book. We found the script that he quoted. He said, Fatimi started the Mawlid practice. Let me mention to you that A'yad, they mention certain A'yad. A'yad is Jama of Eid. A'yad is Jama of Eid. Certain Eids they introduced. Amongst them, and most of them, they mention Yawm Ashura, Mawlid un-Nabi, the Mawlid of Sayyidina Ali, the Mawlid of Hassan, and Imam Hussain, and Fatimi radiallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'een. He said they made that day into a day of celebration. Not they introduced. There's a difference between introduction and to consider it a national day of celebration. They considered it a national day of celebration. We accept. That is their innovation. That is what they started. But we don't accept you saying Mawlid was started by them. It wasn't. The Mawlid wasn't started by these people. The Mawlid is mentioned in the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Continues. I want to now challenge him. Where in Mikrizi's book did he say Mawlid is haram? It's impermissible. In Mikrizi's book, tell me. Now I'm going to tell you. Who is this Imam Taqiyuddin al-Mikrizi? He didn't tell you that, did he? He said, look, Taqiyuddin al-Mikrizi mentioned in Kitab al-Khutat. That's what he said. And what I'm going to tell you is in IMAH Asma. The book IMAH Asma. Who is Taqiyuddin al-Mikrizi? He was a staunch believer in the wasila of the Prophet ﷺ. First thing, he emphasized visiting a Rawdatul Sharifa, the Prophet ﷺ blessed resting place. And he said, when you make dua, when you stand, don't turn your back to the Prophet ﷺ. He then continued. He believed in gaining barakah from the Rawdatul Sharifa. He believed that you can take blessings from the Prophet ﷺ's resting place. He believed and understood and everything the Prophet ﷺ touched. The amal of the Sahaba, the practice of the Sahaba, what did he say? He said to rub their hands on what the Sahaba used to rub their hands. The Prophet ﷺ touched. This is my practice, this is his tradition. This is what he did. And he said, you know, the best place in the entire world, Mikrizi is saying, he said, is the Rawdatul Sharifa. The Prophet ﷺ's resting place is the best place in the world. Minna tell me, Imran, you're bringing a Sufi scholar for your manhaj when your manhaj rejects Sufis. What basis have you made your argument on? You bring a Hanafi, but you're ghair muqallad. You bring a Hanafi and you don't follow any Imam. You bring a Sufi and you don't accept the Sufis. You speak against deviants. Why did you bring Mikrizi? Tell me. Did you not know who Mikrizi was? He's a staunch Sunni. Staunch Sunni. He believed in the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. My challenge, again, from this book, prove Mikrizi said Mawlid is impermissible. Malak Muzaffar, this is now a good subject. He said, Malak Muzaffar, the King Muzaffar of Irbil, he said about him that he was split in personality. One minute he's generous, next minute he's a tyrant. Do you know Muzaffar Malik? This individual was the brother-in-law of Sultan Salahuddin al-Ayyubi. Salahuddin al-Ayyubi's brother-in-law. So if he started Mawlid and Salahuddin is his brother-in-law, why didn't Salahuddin tell him to do bid'ah? We all talk about Salahuddin, liberator of Palestine, great Imam, great Alim. Tell me, give me dalil. Who is Salahuddin al-Ayyubi? We all know the great maqam of Salahuddin, Malak Muzaffar of Irbil. He did a character assassination of him. Let me mention a point. Everything I've mentioned so far He mentioned about the Fatimis, the rapists, the this, the that, etc. The tyrants, we accept, no problem. But they did not start the Mawlid. Make this clear. They did not start the practice of celebrating the birth of the Prophet ﷺ. This was the practice of the Sahaba. They did this. The Aslaf before them, they just introduced doing it on a national day, at a national level. Because they were caliphs, they introduced it. That in itself is an innovation. We can debate whether it's good or bad. We know that there's good and bad. That's another point. The point is the origin of Mawlid didn't start from them. But look at the tactic. To explain Mawlid, first thing, started from Shia. Why do I have to defend Shia? They're Shia. I don't defend them. They're not my imams. Muzaffar is our imam. Malik Muzaffar is a king of the Ahl Sunnah as well. He was a king of Irbil. He's from the Ahl Sunnah. Who is he? He said, split personality, generous and a tyrant. Let me bring, once again, Hafiz Ibn Kathir. Al-Bidayah wal-Nihaya, I have open in front of me. He discusses Al-Malik al-Muzaffar, Abu Sa'id al-Kukuri, the son of Zayd al-Din. Malik Muzaffar al-Kukuri, what did he say? وَكَانَ يَعْمِلُ الْمَوْلِدَ الشَّرِيفَةِ Mawlid al-Sharifa. Look what Ibn Kathir said. He was the one who practiced the blessed Mawlid. Ibn Kathir is saying Al-Mawlid al-Sharif. Mawlid is Sharif. It's blessed. It's noble. It's great. Hafiz Ibn Kathir understood Mawlid to be great and blessed. Why are you telling the whole world something else? He's your Imam. Ibn Kathir is the one you adore. You say, I bring Tafsir Ibn Kathir here. He is using the words Al-Mawlid al-Sharif. Then, في ربيع الأول ويحتفل به احتفالا هائلا. And he used to do it in a gathering. احتفال, like this. Then he continued and said, وَكَانَ مَعَ ذَلِكَ شُحْمًا شُجَاعًا فَاتِكًا بُطْلًا عَاقِلًا عَالِمًا عَادِلًا. He said, you know who he was? He was a man of courage. He was an alim. He said he was a zalim. Imran said zalim. Hafiz Ibn Kathir said alim. Are you going to take Imran's zulmat? Are you going to take his injustice? Are you going to take Hafiz Ibn Kathir's ilm? He's an alim, not a zalim. Ibn Kathir is doing a character assassination, not an assassination, an appraisal of his character. He's doing ta'deel, not jarh. He's going into him. And then he continued, you know what he said? You think he's adil, he's just. He's not unjust. He's an alim. He's not ghair alim. He's an alim, he's an adil, he's a great scholar. You know what's the great thing? You there, Mawlid started from him, Muzaffar the king. You know what Hafiz Ibn Kathir said? Rahimahullah ta'ala. Allah have mercy on this king. وَأَكْرَمَ مَثْوَاهُ. And Allah ta'ala make generous and noble his end. May Allah make his end noble. Ibn Kathir makes dua for him. And you sit there and imply curse upon him. You imply bad on him. Ajib. Brothers, are you going to follow Hafiz Ibn Kathir? Are you going to follow Dawaman Ibrahim ibn Mansur? I leave this question to all of you to think. He's done injustice on this mas'ala. He has not been fair. He's presented his own argument. We continue. And we mention Allama Zahabi. Allama Zahabi now talks about, he quoted a book called Mu'jam al-Buldan. Yaqut al-Hamawi. He mentioned this man, Yaqut al-Hamawi, Mu'jam al-Buldan. He mentioned this book. He said, Malik Muzaffar he was a zalim. You know, Yaqut al-Hamawi was not a Sunni. He was a Khariji. Hafiz ibn Kasir said, Alama Zahabi said, وَكَانَ مِنْ مُطَالَعَتِهِ وَكَانَ مِنَ الْمُطَالَعَةِ. He had a lot of mutala. He studied a lot. عَرَفَ أَشْيَاء. And he seen a lot of things. He understood a lot of things. But you know what he said then? وَتَكَلَّمَ فِي بَعْدِ الصَّحَابَةِ. He used to talk about some Sahaba. He used to talk bad about Sahaba. He was as against the Al of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When you have somebody who has prejudice to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's family, do you not think an individual who runs from one end to another end, seeking safety and sanctuary? We asked a contemporary of Yaqut al-Hamawi, a man called Ibn Khaliqan. Ibn Khaliqan, what did he say? Ibn Khaliqan lived in the same time as Yaqut al-Hamawi. He said Yaqut al-Hamawi had an issue with certain governors in Iraq because he used to insult Sayyidina Ali. So to save himself, he used to go from here to there. The Fatimis were in charge, Shia governors. The Shia love Sayyidina Ali. He talks against Sayyidina Ali. To save himself, he has to run. This same individual then is attributing what to Mullah Muzaffar, the King Muzaffar. And then we see Wafayatul A'yan. Wafayatul A'yan, the book that is mentioned here. Ibn Khaliqan, what did he say about Malik Muzaffar? Yaqut Hamawi spoke about Malik Muzaffar, said Zalim. Ibn Khaliqan spoke about Yaqut al-Hamawi and said the guy used to run and flee. Obviously he's going to lie about Malik Muzaffar. He was scared of him. And then we see that Ibn Khaliqan, he said about Malik Muzaffar, regarding the personality of Malik Muzaffar, he performed such extra generosity that has not been heard before. Nothing was more beloved to him than sadaqah. He was that individual that every day he would distribute large amounts of bread to the people to serve them. He was that individual, he would give clothes to the poor people in various cities around the world, around the country. He set up centers to take care of orphans and widows. He was that individual who would, every Hajj, he would take thousands and thousands of gold coins and he would spend them on the needy people in Hijaz. He was that individual who would abundantly shower generosity on fuqaha and muhaddithin. On the Mawlid of Rasulullah, he would make a grand feast, loads of food, and he would feed everyone. He was morally upright and a humble man. He followed the Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah. After all of this, Ibn al-Khaliqan, he said, I have absolutely not exaggerated what I have said in the description, and yet more can be written about the greatness of this man. Ibn al-Khaliqan, he was a contemporary of Malik Muzaffar and Yaqut al-Hamawi. Yaqut al-Hamawi is prejudiced against him, and Ibn al-Khaliqan, he gives a just account on the personality of Sayyidina Malik Muzaffar rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi. Hazrat, this I have in front of me here. It's mentioned, everything is clear. We see that this accusation that he makes against us, that the Mawlid started from these people. No. The Mawlid didn't start from the Fatimis or Malik Muzaffar. They may have introduced it to be at a national level as a national day of rejoice, but they certainly didn't introduce the practice of Milad. Make this point clear. And his references, the people he has used, they are all in question. Yaqut al-Hamawi, in question. He used Mikrizi, he's a Sufi. He's a Sufi, he's a man of Tasawwuf, Tariqat. He's from the Ahlul Sunnah. He used the Mufti al-Muti'i. He used this individual. And about Mufti al-Muti'i, we've heard that this individual, he didn't even see where has he said Mawlid is impermissible. He writes 20 pages proving Mawlid and the permissibility of Mawlid. So his arguments have no basis. They have no ground. Why spread lies? Why tell everyone, Mawlid, it's Shia practice, rapists used to do it? No, don't, please, don't lie. This lie that we're spreading to people is putting ill feeling in their hearts towards the Prophet ﷺ's death. And you know who is responsible, my brother Imran? It's you. Your talks are going worldwide. You're talking to hundreds of thousands of people, and you're telling them unjust things that are not true. Hazrat Muhtaram,